My new book is here, The Quiet Blueprint of Wealth. It's a masterclass that teaches exactly what the title implies. Grab your physical copies on Amazon Prime or anywhere else books are sold, or download the ebook version exclusively at DaneMakeYouThink.com.
OCO Freethinkers.
I make you think, yeah. I make you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you think, yeah.
I want to talk about this because I feel as though before I get into the other segments dealing with our people, that this is dealing with our people as well. But it's a lot of us who have been led astray into thinking that we need to be on the side of the Democrats. And I just want y'all to see the behaviors of the people that are getting something out of it. Because our people could attest that we're not getting nothing out of it. As far as, for example, the Congressional Black Caucus, what have they done for us? Okay. For example, what have they done for us? What has any politician that share the same skin complexion as you and I, what have they done for us? Was any laws passed in our favor? Now, a lot of our people, or older people, would assume that DEI was passed for our people, and they are so incorrect. DEI, let me explain. DEI came from affirmative action. Affirmative action was never established with the intent to benefit only our people. Instead, it went to white women and foreigners who benefited. This is the reason why they could come over here and get political positions of power while having dual citizenship or carrying dual citizenship. They're from a totally different country and they're able to determine what goes on in this one. Let that sink in. Let it in. Now, I said, okay, I want to let the people know about the Democrats' history. And I actually showed you both sides, but especially the Democrats. I had a series out and I still have it out on my YouTube channel. A part of that series dealing with the political realm of things was about the Civil Rights era. And I exposed the Civil Rights era. Legs, thank you for the gift. I appreciate that. And I exposed the Civil Rights era to let you guys know that it was all about benefiting foreigners. In fact, a lot of the organizations that were created back then were created by foreigners, with whites included, by the way. NAACP, SNCC, SCLC, you name it, white folks was in there. You name it. But again, after we started getting into, we need first-class citizenship for Black Americans. We need equal opportunity for Black Americans. That was around that time. Y'all remember the signs they was holding up? I was showing you all of this. That was around that time. And people, I don't know, what threw you guys off into believing that we have that now and we need to be fighting to keep DEI around because it benefits us. Benefits us how? Because again, the only people that is going to benefit are those who are already in Congress and being paid to sit there and do nothing. And that's what's been going on. They are being, okay, their districts are being remapped, and the ones that's been there for 40, 50 years, who are Democrats, are being kicked out because the Republicans about to take their place. And they're mad at that now. That's what's going on. So this is what you're about to see. So they feel as though this was unconstitutional because you're going to hear them state that they're taking away the positions from Black Americans. And no, they're not. They're just getting rid of the Democrats. Peep game. And the foreigners on top of that, because that's who is going to affect foreigners and white women when it comes to DEI, though, by the way. But you'll see. Hold on. And she's saying that this is a violation of the Constitution.
Several
Democrat
states have tried redrawing their congressional maps to try to favor one party or the other. It started last year in Texas, then California, Virginia, Ohio, North Carolina, Missouri, Utah, Florida, and now a handful of states in the Deep South. Montgomery, Alabama. This is the birthplace of the modern civil rights movement. We're on the grounds of the Alabama State Capitol. It's the kind of city where there's a statue of Jefferson Davis, the former president of the Confederacy, next to a newer statue of Rosa Parks, who in this city refused to give up her seat on the bus.
Next to it is who?
A statue of Jefferson Davis, the former president of the Confederacy, next to a newer statue of Rosa Parks.
Stop. My film is out there. Mother Rosa is out. That's on my website right now, DaneMakeYouThink.com. It's called Mother Rosa, the mother of the civil rights movement. That was me and Tanisha's research. And we got to the nit-grit of why is she being so duly noted, and she not even one of us. You got the original. I didn't change. It's still the same version. I didn't change it. It was always on DaneMakeYouThink.com. I didn't change. No, that thing is still the same. Mother Rosa. You probably got it when it first came out, but even if you did, I didn't change anything. It's still the same thing. Mother Rosa is on the website right now. You need to go watch it if you didn't already. And if you don't know, that's me and Tanisha narrating in that documentary. She's narrating and I'm narrating. They got Mother Rosa, as a representative of our people, as if they actually did something. Me and my wife showed you in the trailer. The picture where they were showing her getting fingerprinted happened a year later after the incident, when she was already arrested and let go. So why are they taking pictures of her being fingerprinted a year later? Political theater, ladies and gentlemen. I know you heard that term before. It was fraudulent, unfortunately. But all of that is in the doc. We put it in the doc on the website.
This city refused to give up her seat on the bus. This is Dexter Avenue in Montgomery. This is where Martin Luther King Jr. would lead marches to this state capitol from Selma to push for equal rights.
And go watch my video on that as well, called The Breach of the Civil Rights Movement. That's on my YouTube channel. The Breach of the Civil Rights Movement. There is a part 1 to that one, and it's right before that one. I forgot the name of that one exactly, but it was something dealing with the civil rights movement. Watch both.
And it's in a congressional district that Republicans controlling this state now want to redraw in the wake of last week's decision by the Supreme Court to, in essence, neuter the Voting Rights Act. It had to do specifically with a congressional district in Louisiana that the justices argued unnecessarily factored race, or perhaps factored race too much in drawing the district that stretches about 200 miles to account for most of that state's black population. And it was a signal to other states that they don't necessarily have to account for race as much as they have in the past when drawing districts across this part of the country. In most of these southern states, there are mostly Republican districts, and then 1 or 2.
And that wasn't because of DEI or affirmative action, by the way. That was done prior to any of that happening. The Voters' Rights Act is older than that. But the older one, 1865. Okay, hold on. I'm jumping the gun.
Where most of the state's black voters live. Well, all of these states now are redrawing them, arguing as to...
Hold on. Let me just explain really quick. The oldest Voters' Rights Act gives you the right to vote, okay? And it supersedes the one that they tried to come up with as far as civil is concerned, your civil rights. There's a difference. They try to make it seem like it was tied into each other. They get rid of the representation, you get rid of your voting right. That's not true. That's not true. They're not getting rid of your right to vote. They're redistricting what they count as their district. Okay, now they're redoing the territories. Just like originally it was 13 districts, right? And I showed you the map of the 13 districts, which was the 13 colonies, 13 banks, 13 families. You get it? Okay, and the reason why I'm saying that now, okay, let me, here's another thing. The Black Caucus, as an example, the Black Caucus had 13 founding members. The Black Caucus been around since 1971. If it's anybody that you want to get mad at, it should be them. Because since 1971, 2026, that's 55 years. Since 1971, 55 years, name one thing the Black Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus did for so-called Black Americans. Name one. And that's even when DEI or affirmative action and then DEI came through. Name one. They ain't do a thing. Not, they gave a speech. Not, they gave they took a photo. they hosted a conference or they created some symbolic resolution that they wanted you to support. No, I'm asking, what did they change in favor of the so-called Black American families? What exactly did they do? Now, some of them, okay, let's say, for example, one or two of them got some laws passed or got an act passed, some type of bill. They spoke about an issue. You know, they marched and spoke at the podium. They shook the president's hand. I'm talking about, what did they do that played an effect as, or can be considered as, a measurable benefit for our people as a collective? What about land protection? Anything, name it. How about that anti-deed theft? Well, I was going over that in another video. How the Jews pulling up talking about something. Oh, they found the loophole in the deeds and they able to grab people's deeds from right up under them. How about that one? Deed theft is still legal. And that's what the Black Caucus in Congress. Y'all peeping game? We could go down the list. It's been 55 years. We could go back to the COVID situation. How a lot of people, especially our people, lost their jobs, lost their homes, lost their families, lost their family members. Black Caucus was in Congress. DEI was at play. Affirmative action was already in there. What's the excuse? There's no excuse. That's the reason why you need to be, and I always said that those folks that's in Congress right now that claim that they represent us need to be held responsible. Because to be honest, they've been in there for so long now. What have they done? Where is their progress report? Why are we not holding them niggas accountable? We just, oh yeah, they got in there. And then what? They need to be going off of what we say, the rules and regulations that we set, what we want done, and how we want to be represented in this country in a political sense. We not one time came to them like that out of 55 years of their existence. So what are they there for? It's not for us. It's always been for the benefit of foreigners. And that goes for any politician that share the same skin complexion as you and I. I told you this government's history has always been on the welfare of immigrants. That's all they're about. You gonna learn.
Supreme Court suggested that they don't have to factor for race anymore, and that given they're controlled by Republicans and vote mostly for Republican office holders, there should be more Republican members of Congress representing them in Washington. People in this state argue Alabama's a little different. There was a case a few years ago that required it to draw 2 districts for mostly black voters, and that it's not part of this argument that was made last week regarding Louisiana.
Mostly black voters, but then that means all the black voters voted Democrat. So now it's time for a change, so-called black people. You didn't see the Democrats do a thing for you. So stop getting scared and try Republican and make sure you got somebody that's gonna represent you. If you gonna, go by this government's rules and you fine by what they say so, I will put somebody in there that you like, that is a Republican. Since they switching hands, it's either that or we need to be creating our own. And I'm for all that. I'm for that, brothers and sisters. I want us to create our own. I encourage us to create our own. We need our own party. We shouldn't be linking up with their parties. We shouldn't have got with the Democrats to begin with. And Malcolm X told you that. They were always the enemy. Enemy number one. Should have known their history.
Things have been worse here, or weren't handled as well, that Alabama shouldn't be allowed to redraw the lines. Is this a Republican power grab?
No, I think what it is the legislature in Alabama being able to exercise their authority.
And for months, Democrats had been, in essence, winning or keeping Republicans on their toes when it came to redrawing districts across the country because they'd gotten so many out of California and Virginia. They were going to likely pick up one almost by accident in Utah. Now, if these Republican-controlled states in the South succeed, the GOP believes they'll be able to maintain their edge in the elections this November and possibly hold on to the majority by the thinnest of margins, even though polling right now suggests Democrats are more likely to win Congress. So this is confusing, and it's a state-by-state thing dealing with all sorts of different laws and traditions and history, but ultimately it's all about who controls the House of Representatives after November, Democrats or Republicans.
Or the need you. Who ready for that? The Democrats had their turn. The Republicans had their term. We gave these people chances already, y'all. We gave them chance after chance after chance. We gonna give them another 50 years to get it right for us? Or are we gonna do it for ourselves? It's either you with me or you against me on that note. And if you're against me, then you ain't thinking well. Because you can't name a time a Democrat nor a Republican did anything for you, historically. You can't name it. Did any of them have our backs when our people were getting bombed in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Washington, D.C., Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida, New York, Virginia? They ain't have our back, did they? They ain't have our back when our people were getting lynched for their political position or ideas. They didn't have our back when our people were suffering through Jim Crow, unequal opportunities, systematically. None of these people had our back. Then they're not gonna have our back now, realistically speaking. No matter what you may believe, our people need to do for themselves. We're better off doing it that way. It's more respectable doing it that way as well. Make these folks bow down now. I'm ready for it. I'm anxious. I'm ready for it.
Try to do things that have not been done before.
Try to do things that have not been done before. Well, at least not in your lifetime, but our ancestors did it before. To go back to what I was saying, not necessarily what he was saying. Our ancestors did this before. They were living, making a living, living well, when America was great, when we had full control over our way of life. Come on, y'all.
To make sure
we can do it.
The House leans either red or blue.
Mr. Chambers, you want to give your name and your organization?
Otherwise, we're going to keep complaining.
Representing myself. I know how the political process works, so I know that most of what we say at this microphone doesn't mean much to you all as representatives. You've got a vote to make in order to do what you feel you need to do for the governor and your politics. But your state ranks number 50 in the nation because you continue to do these things. We rank number 50 in the economy, number 50 in crime. You can shake your head, Representative. Number 46 in education, number 44 in healthcare, number 48 in infrastructure, number 49 in natural environment. But you got time to take away clerks of court seats. Your priorities are jacked up, and your state continues to lose as a result. But you're proud. You're proud Republicans, proud conservatives. You're Reconstructionist. You're Reconstructionist, and it's racist. And
wait a minute, brother. If you know about the Reconstruction, then you know we didn't benefit from the very first one. You're right. They've been Reconstructionists, and so have the Democrats. Don't forget that they were once their own political party, the Democratic Republican Party. They were literally two heads of the same snake. What makes you think they're any different now?
every one of your votes reflect your moral character and the lack thereof. Now I go to church just like you all.
Right after that.
I don't know if we read the same Bible. Do good, seek justice, help the widow, the orphan, the oppressed, and the poor. Isaiah 1:17. Now, you can strip up the Constitution of this state. You can restructure New Orleans all you want, but you're losing even your own voters. Because last year, you lost every constitutional amendment you sent out the Capitol. Every one of them. In your own districts.
Wait a minute, young. And you from Louisiana. What have the Democrats did that whole time that they were in positions of power for the so-called people of color in Louisiana? When nothing gets done and you want progress, you make change.
And you came back down here again, playing Jeff's game. Now he wants to be president. And some of y'all won't even be representatives following along with the governor. If you believe in local representation, like I know most of you truly do, you wouldn't be meddling in this local community. But it's a majority black community. And you don't do this anywhere else in the state, which shows it's racist. I don't need data to show me the history of Louisiana. Every legislature that has ever existed in this state has been under majority white control, and you still haven't found a way to get yourselves out of the bottom 10 ranking. Georgia beats you every year. Why? Because they don't have a problem with black people prospering. The government is a job farm. You all are opening up prisons in rural parishes to create jobs for your constituents and trying to take away Calvin Duncan's job in New Orleans, where he creates jobs for black constituents. The prosperity of this state continues to decline because you lack the vision to lead us forward.
Lead us forward. See, if you got to be led by a foreigner, then you're not a leader. If he listens to what he's saying, he's actually stating the solution to himself. All you got to do is listen to what you're saying. The problem is the fact that you're letting them lead you. So they're in the way. Move them out of the way. That's the solution. Move them out of the way.
This is a waste of the voters' time, and I know you're going to vote the way you...
It's a waste of your time too, just like you said in the beginning. You came up there and you know what's going to go in one ear and out the other no matter what you say. It's going to sound good when you say it for the first go round because you got the preacher talk and they're going to say, and yes, and you right, and then what? Nothing. Right back to square one or business as usual. So if you really want to see change, you got to make it happen. And not at the podium. Stop looking for the government to help you. Start your own. That's what our people need. And I'm going to keep promoting this all of my years of life until they get it. We don't need these people. We don't. We could do it for ourselves. Just like how he mentioned in that scenario that it was a black person that was trying to give black people jobs out there. Okay, so if that's the case, then that means that that's a black business owner that can handle their own. And there's going to be more than one. Start grabbing the things that allows us to take control of over our infrastructure, especially in agriculture. And do not allow the government to dictate what our rules should be, what our goals should be, and how our policy should be ran. You, my brother, are putting too much energy in talking to these foreigners as if they actually give a fuck about what you got to say. When this energy could have been invested in planning with our own people. You get with some like-minded people that will think and act like you, leave them two political parties alone that ain't for you, and put your great heads together, great minds together, and make the plan become a reality. It don't take long. It don't take much. But wasting your time up on these podiums ain't doing nothing. Unless you find we're getting clipped and going viral and that's it. If that's what this is all about, then so be it. You just there looking for attention. Unfortunately, they ain't authentic enough. If you are authentic, it'll show.
I want to vote anyway. But I wanted to look you in your faces and tell you this is weak, self-serving, and cowardice, and you're reconstructionists, and history will remember you. Thank you.
All right, we've got 2 red cards left to testify. I'm not accepting it.
In 2026, black folks still have to come down to this legislature and beg for something that they rightfully were born to have.
Stop right there. Why they gotta come down and beg? When is black folk gonna get tired of that? Come down and beg. When did that ever solve a problem for us? When? Did we get any civil rights or did we gain any civil rights from begging?
And that is a right to vote and proper representation. We live in a time where one of your colleagues can turn around and tell an audience of women and black men and women, more specifically myself, you need to shut up, boy. Wow. And you, instead of telling him and correcting him on the mic, you tell the crowd that I need to maintain order. As if we are the problem inside of this building. The people came and showed up in droves because you are trying to interrupt the flow of what they were rightfully deserved. And that is proper representation. Let me tell you what racism is.
See? And you don't even need to tell them what racism is. You need to be telling them what proper representation is. Because apparently you don't know what that is. Proper representation is not going down there to talk on the mic to see who can scream the loudest and sound the best. And outcome what? You're looking at the same result each and every time you're doing that, right? You talking to a brick wall. They're not listening to you. They don't care about your outcries. All of that sound like crying and begging to them. And calling them out on their shit ain't solving nothing too, because they ain't got to see a day in jail, right? It's corrupt. But nah, you gonna tell them what racism is as if they don't already know it. Like that's not their daily routine right now.
Racism is when you insert your privilege and you use it to push out your superiority against people who look like myself. And in the words of Congressman
Who didn't know that?
Cleo Fields, I wake up every day and I can't.
You think you cooking because you stated the obvious?
Watch this off. They can't watch that off. And if you're going to vote and tell us that we should not deserve the right to have proper representation because of the color of our skin, that's emphatically wrong.
Now, whoever said that? Who said that we can't have the proper representation because of the color of our skin? Who said that? Who stated that for a fact? Whoever stated that was wrong. Because if that's the case, then how you get there? With a suit on. We don't have the proper representation because of the color of our skin. We don't have the proper representation because they put niggas like you in the forefront. Somebody that could easily control. And I don't even know you. You in the way. You misrepresenting us. You've been there for so long, you comfortable in that $60,000, $70,000 to $80,000 salary, maybe more, because I'm pretty sure that you're getting more money from your donors. You ain't speaking for our people, you speaking for yourself.
In fact, it was St. Augustine who said that an unjust law is no law at all. Anything that comes out of this body that is in full support behind what Jim Crow, because this ain't Jim Crow that we're dealing with now, we're dealing with Jim Crow policies, is wrong. Like one thing that I simply just cannot understand, Senator Miguez isn't here right now, but for God's sake, your last name is Miguez. Your people are marginalized people, and you sound as though you are in support of a bill that hurts and harms marginalized people. You gotta make that make sense to me today.
You ain't cooking, bro.
Single Democratic leader on this board, I applaud you. Because these same people, they think because they can come and eat, that you go and eat with them, that they come and smoke cigars with you, that they crack glasses. Wait, 1 second.
No, you're going to listen to me.
All right, you go ahead.
You're going to listen to me.
Go ahead.
You're going to stay on the four corners of the bill. We're not going to talk. No, you're not.
Okay.
You're going off. If you choose to keep on talking about racism.
It's okay. You may not like what I got to say. I'm going to get up the mic. It's okay. I'm going to leave the mic anyway because I knew you were going to do this.
You can leave now.
All right, I will.
Thank you.
I have questions, sir. I'm sorry.
No, he's done talking, Senator. He's done.
It's okay. You're going to beat on my rights. That's fine.
Go ahead, Senator Jenkins. You can make a statement.
But what is the position there on those bills?
Each and every one of those bills disenfranchises black voters and Democratic voters across the state of Louisiana.
I did not know.
We weren't. As soon as we became elected voters, we were disenfranchised. He doesn't know his history. As soon as we became elected voters, we were disenfranchised. I covered this in a larger detail on my channel. So he doesn't know his history. So of course he's going to mislead people that don't know their history. Was the guy wrong for cutting him off because he was loud and wrong?
That you have been told to shut up. I did not know that
the actual quote, Senator, was, y'all need to shut up, boy.
That is so offensive, and I do want to apologize on behalf of the Senate.
Don't apologize on behalf of somebody. Let them do their apologizing. And if they don't want to apologize, why your black ass apologizing for them? Coonery all the way around, ain't it?
I do want to apologize on behalf of the committee because that was so inappropriate, and I did not know that had occurred.
The U.S. Supreme Court has gutted the Voting Rights Act, and we're already seeing election-changing consequences. It could even give President Donald Trump and his party a lifeline in the upcoming midterms. The Voting Rights Act was passed in 1965. It ended Jim Crow-era laws that made voting nearly impossible for black people in the South. The then President Lyndon...
It made voting nearly impossible for black people in the South. But again, didn't I tell you we had the right to vote before that 1965 one? It was in the 1800s, 1860s. We already had the right to vote. The Jim Crow laws was about unfair treatment, not the fact that our vote didn't count. They were already counting us as 3/5 of a human being. So not one person was equal to the next, especially if they were foreign born. So the 1965 Voting Rights Act didn't fully give us the right to vote when we already had it. When you look that up and see that it was one and prior to that, you can be like, what? Say they try to make it seem like this is when we were able to vote. No, How do you think we had black representatives in the Republican Party? You think that was in the 1960s? Hell no. So how were they able to get voted in? Think.
And Johnson also wanted to boost African-American representation in politics.
It's all of us who must overcome the crippling legacy of bigotry and injustice, and we shall overcome.
And the law worked. The number of black lawmakers in Washington has soared over the last 6 decades. The current U.S. Congress is the most diverse in history. But this Supreme Court decision could derail some of that progress. The justices threw out an electoral map in Louisiana, saying it gave...
Our people was doing the stupidest thing ever and putting all of our political resources into a party that never gave a shit about our well-being or best interest. That's what the problem is. Now all of a sudden Republicans trying to see if y'all would have thought representation counts inside of these political parties, then why we ain't have no representatives on the Republican side? All of y'all were led to believe that the Democrats are going to do the best things for us, and now has it shown that not one time ever since we collaborated with them.
Too much consideration of race and electoral boundaries should be more colorblind. That has set a new nationwide precedent. Now, more than a dozen majority black seats could be in jeopardy of being erased.
It's because they're Democrats. That's it. That's it.
I mean, it is a...
See, look, Representative, Democrat, Louisiana.
Direct blow to the Voting Rights Act. This is real. This is real. And this should be a wake-up call for America.
No, it should be a wake-up call for y'all. Sitting on y'all lazy asses, not doing nothing for our people, but meanwhile, you was able to take care of your family. He was in a nice-ass suit.
Could be in jeopardy of being erased.
Look.
It's devastating. I mean...
That was a nice 3-piece suit. That suit, I'm talking about, got to be over $450. That jacket, Tailor-Made. That jacket was probably $450. But you got our people back. Yeah, okay.
It is a direct blow to the Voting Rights Act. This is real. This is real. And this should be a wake-up call for America.
Fear-mongering. That's what they're doing.
I love it.
President Donald Trump is now urging Republican states to redraw districts in a way that could give his party a boost in the upcoming midterms, and his loyalists are moving to do just that.
I think that the Supreme Court has finally taken race out of redistricting.
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is taking the extraordinary step of suspending primaries there, so the State House can craft new boundaries that could eliminate the 2 black majority seats entirely. And now
that suit don't... Nah, when it's tailor-made, it calls, Levante. When you get a suit tailored to you, you go to a warehouse that take care of you, that, you know, fit you up. Nah, them Jones calls, bro. You talking at least $500 and up for a suit. At least. That's tailor-made though. Not something that you could get out of Walmart. What's the name of that store? Burlington Coat Factory. Not them. I'm talking about a tailor-made suit. That's $500 and up. They gonna call. Look, the socks cost. The socks cost. You get a tailor-made suit, that's gonna run you. No cap.
After the Supreme Court decision, Florida passed a new map of its own. The seats have been aggressively gerrymandered and black voting power has been diluted. The state's boundary overhaul disperses Democratic voters into areas where Republicans are dominant, giving that center-left party less of a chance. According to data from the Pew Research Center, the vast majority of black voters are Democrats. Still, some welcome the ruling.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Men's Warehouse. And they not cheap neither. Men's Warehouse is not cheap neither. Especially if you go the tailored way.
Only black Republican Representative Byron Donald says racism in voting isn't the problem it once was.
The gross, disgusting issues that brought about the need for real change in the 65 Voting Rights Act does not exist today.
Florida's new map could leave Democrats with just 4 of the 28 congressional seats there. Tennessee is also threatening to redraw its map, dropping the 1 black majority seat in the state. Democrats fear Alabama and Mississippi could be next. All of this could help President Trump's party in the November midterm elections, despite his slumping popularity.
I'm 40 today, and you're still taking things from black people.
Okay, here go another Democrat.
Win is a sucker. I'm gonna say it again. Anybody who got to cheat to win is a sucker. And you continue to do this because you don't have a better vision. You don't have a better plan. You are your ancestors' children and grandchildren. Thieves, robbers, liars, consistently. Because you'll go to church on Sunday, tell the Lord you love him. Pray, but you ain't praying out of the same Bible I'm praying out of, can't be. Isaiah 1 and 17.
Are you directing this to us?
I am.
Okay. I'm asking that you don't directly. No.
Oh, and he cut his mic.
That we don't be called names. I'm asking.
I didn't call you a name. What did I call you?
Liars.
Do you lie? All men lie. The Bible says that. Mr. Chairman.
The maps. The maps.
Yeah, they don't. They redistrict.
If you are taking seats from black people, which we are entitled.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop saying that they taking seats from black people. No, they taking seats from the Democrats. You just so happen to be black. Stop that, bruh. Stop. That's a false narrative.
Constitution.
He do sound like Roland Martin.
Of this country, then you are a thief in my opinion. And I'm entitled to that opinion.
I will not be
and
called
any
a thief.
senator, if you're offended by it, that's on you, not me.
Right.
Now, if that triggered you, Senator, then you should go to bed tonight. And when you go to bed tonight, talk to your God and ask your God to change your heart.
What this got to do with God?
Right there. Conviction. That's what it was. It did something in your soul. It made you feel.
Oh, Lord. Now he got to go the preacher route.
Show up. Yes, sir. When black men with courage, conviction, and righteousness show up, it triggers.
Black men with courage and conviction. What was that at the whole time you was an activist? The whole time these political figures were in office as Democrats, supposedly representing us. Where was this courage to fight back against the so-called man that's in charge? Now all of a sudden, since they taking your job, you got a problem in saying y'all gonna stand up and talk to them and have the courage. Come on, man, that's backwards. Everybody need to get behind y'all. They doing this to black people. Y'all know they not. They doing it to your ass. And you got real comfortable doing that job. And now all of a sudden the Republicans want more seats in the House and your ass got to go. Y'all been there for between 10 to 55 years. Come on now.
And you feel a way about it.
And y'all ain't do nothing that whole goddamn time. So yeah, it's time for a change.
Try to limit us, you try to steal from us, and you think that we don't understand it. Every one of the black men we put up before you stand head and shoulders above every one of you on this committee, and you know it. Mm-hmm. It does something in you that makes you feel inferior. So then you come with these white supremacist tactics because you have the numbers, but you don't.
But how is this white supremacist tactics? You knew it was coming. You was just gonna wait until the last minute? You knew it was coming, but you still wanted to stay down with the Democrats that still ain't do shit for his people or for our people. Nah, man, y'all, right, keep that same energy. Yeah, y'all had y'all chance. Y'all had your opportunity to show us something. Y'all didn't do anything. So why should I feel bad that you about to get ready to lose your job? Why? When you wasn't even really doing your job. Or, matter of fact, unless you was getting paid to shut up and do whatever master say so, then you was doing your job. But your job got a time limit. Another party came in.
Have the courage.
Just saying.
Because if you were really visionary leaders, you'd run against these black men with fair maps. Come on. And you get your ass.
You run against the black men with fair maps. See how it's about the redistricting? This ain't got nothing to do with race. It's the fact that they still want the control over the so-called black man's mind as a Democrat so they can still feed their families. That's what this is about. Look at them as an individual because they ain't do shit for us. So what do they get out of this? Money and misrepresenting us in the process, gatekeeping us in the process. It's time to let this shit go. Out with the old, in with the new.
It's whooped.
Basically, the Congressional Black Caucus is upset because they're losing seats. The Democrats are losing their hold on so-called black Americans. And I'm thankful that this is happening. Because all they've been doing is working for foreigners anyway.
OCO, free thinkers.
I make you think, yeah. I make you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you think, yeah. I made you think, yeah. I made you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you
He's
think.
here to make you think.
I make you think, yeah. I make you think, I make you think, yeah. I make you think, yeah. I made you think, yeah. I made you think, I make you think,
It's Dane
yeah.
Calloway.